Hello everyone, my name is Aastha. I welcome you all to our classes for International English Olympiad for class 6th. Today we are going to be doing our 16th class, and herein we will be doing the reading comprehension. For reading comprehension there will be passages and then you will have to answer questions based on them. So for that we will be understanding a few rules and a few guidelines, and then we will be solving the questions in detail. Alright, let's get started.
So first of all, let's start with understanding what exactly is comprehension. Now, comprehension means the ability to understand what you listen or what you read. It is an exercise which aims at improving or testing one's ability to understand a language. Now, comprehension is nothing but your simple ability to understand what you have listened to or what you have read. Now, जो भी आप सुन रहे हैं या फिर पढ़ रहे हैं, in this case we will be doing a reading comprehension. तो आप जो भी पढ़ रहे हैं उसको आपको जितना आपको समझ आया है, जितना आपको comprehend हुआ है, that is basically comprehension. And this exercise, ये जो comprehension की exercise है, how does it help? It aims at improving or testing one's ability to understand a language. Now, जो भी आप read कर रहे हैं, English, that is in English language. So this will help in testing first of all and also improving, because as I have told you time and again that you should involve English in your life. मतलब आपको इंग्लिश अगर आप बोलना शुरू कर देंगे, पढ़ना शुरू कर देंगे, लिखना शुरू कर देंगे, then these grammar topics जो हम लोग पढ़ रहे हैं, जो हम लोग कर रहे हैं, they will come so naturally to you, and you won't really have to memorize the rules or anything. You will just have to understand. You will just have to read and write and speak and listen to, and everything will come to you very naturally. Alright, so जो comprehension की जो exercise है, this is just your ability to understand what you have, what you listen or what you read, and this will overall help in overall improvement and testing of your understanding of the English language. Alright. Now we have understood what comprehension is, and now we will move on towards कि जो facets होते हैं अलग अलग comprehension में वो क्या क्या होंगे. First of all, now you will be given, just a minute, yes. So first of all, you will be given either any passage or any paragraph or a poem. Right, you will be given any of these, either a passage or one paragraph or a poem. Poem is the poetry, paragraph makes single paragraph, a passage which involving a number of paragraphs. Right, and then these paragraphs, second point, these paragraphs, they show the idea or mood concerning various issues and the solutions that the author provides. ये जो paragraphs होंगे इसमें एक central idea होगा, एक central mood होगा, जिसमें अलग अलग तरीके के जो issues हैं, उनके जो solutions हैं, they will be provided by the author. Alright. ये जैसे जैसे हम comprehension करेंगे वैसे वैसे आपको समझ आएगा when we will be doing the examples. And third thing, your main task will be to answer the questions asked from the passage, which means what you will have to do is कि जो आपने paragraph या passage या poem पढ़ा है, उसका जो आपने second point के हिसाब से जो आपने idea, mood, issues, solutions जो भी आपने पढ़े हैं, उसमें से आपने जो भी understand किया है, उसको आप apply कहाँ करेंगे? Apply करेंगे जो questions होंगे. The main task will be to answer the questions asked from the passage. Alright. So This will be your overall approach, your overall strategy for solving the comprehension. Okay, now here we are talking about the requisite skills. Requisite skills का मतलब होता है जो basic skills हमें चाहिए for understanding and for doing the reading comprehension. First is the logical ability. Logical ability कैसे कि जो भी situation हो रही है, जो भी sentences, जो भी आपको paragraph दिया है, जो भी आइडिया थीम बताया है या कोई इशू बताया है, उसको लॉजिक के हिसाब से आपको उसकी क्रोनोलॉजी समझना एंड उसका इंटरप्रिटेशन जो है वो लॉजिकली करना. Similarly, second is the ability to infer. The ability to infer. Infer मतलब एक inference draw करना. जैसे अगर आपको जो भी situation दी है, जो भी story दी है या poem दी है, उसमें से आप कोई conclusion क्या draw कर सकते हैं. Alright. Similarly, third will be the analytical ability. Now, analytical ability होती है basically किसी भी issue की, किसी भी scenario की, हम उसका जो भी उसमें positive था या जो भी उसमें negative था, एक उसकी critical analysis करना. तो we need the analytical ability. Right? Then we have reasoning ability. Reasoning, logic and reasoning, these abilities, these skills, they go hand in hand. कि आप logic लगा पाओगे तभी आप उसके reasons understand कर पाएंगे और उसके reasons infer कर पाएंगे. Alright. Then another one is the ability to understand the main motive or the idea of the author. कि जो comprehension है, जो passage, paragraph या poem है, उसमें मेन आइडिया, मेन मोटिव क्या है ऑथर का. Alright. Similarly, we have reading speed. Now, suppose if you are given a 10-line paragraph and if you take 10 minutes only to read that paragraph, then your reading speed is very slow, which means कि आप questions time पे खत्म नहीं कर पाएंगे. Alright, so ये comprehension जो होता है ये आपकी reading speed भी test करता है. Similarly, vocabulary part. Vocabulary में हमने शुरू में क्या किया था? हमने 3 चीजें समझी थी. Synonyms, antonyms and homophones. Plus क्या क्या आएगा इसमें vocabulary में और? इसमें और भी आएंगी चीजें which will be spellings. ठीक है, spellings, and then this will also include our one word substitution. Right, now vocabulary में बहुत सारी चीजें आती हैं. हमने पढ़ा spellings आ गए, one word substitution आ गया, homophones आ गया, synonyms आ गया, antonyms आ गया. So you see now vocabulary is not just कि आपको word meanings पता हो, but vocabulary में हम ये भी कह सकते हैं कि हमने हमारे लिए proverbs and idioms are also some sort of vocabulary only. क्योंकि ये आपकी जो English के various words हैं, various phrases हैं, उसी की जो आपकी knowledge होती है, जो आपकी understanding होती है, उसी को हम simply vocabulary कहते हैं. तो बहुत सारे aspects आपके test होते हैं reading comprehension में ही. Alright. So these were the overall skills which are required and the skills जो हमारी test भी होंगी किस चीज में? Reading comprehension में. Alright. So now let's move on. Alright, so here I have given you a few tips. Now, a few tips to understand and to go about the reading comprehension. Now, first important thing is to read the passage as fast as possible. Now, why am I saying that we should read the passage as fast as possible? It is because now it's such a long passage that will be given. बाकी questions में क्या होता है? Suppose synonyms निकालना है, आपने आपको synonym दिया and the word is happy. You quickly read the 4 options, you decide which is the synonym of happy and you answer that. But in the passage में क्या होता है, जब तक आप पूरा passage नहीं पढ़ेंगे तो आप उसका एक भी question answer नहीं कर पाएंगे. You have to read the complete passage for answering the questions. So it is very important to read the passage as fast as possible. और एक passage का एक question तो नहीं होता. एक passage में there will be I think 3 to 4 questions at least. And so एक passage के हिसाब से you will be solving 4 to 5 questions. So you have to be very careful and you have to read the passage as fast as possible so that आप उसे जल्दी से पढ़ें, जल्दी से समझें और questions कर पाएं solve. And the second thing is get involved with the paragraph to understand it. Get involved with the paragraph. अब यहाँ get involved with the paragraph में क्यों बोल रही हूँ, इसका मतलब क्या होता है? Get involved with the paragraph means कि जो भी हम थीम पढ़ रहे हैं ना, जो भी हम क्या कहते हैं, जो भी पैसेज का सेंट्रल आइडिया है, मूड है या फिर जो भी इशू है, तो हम उसके साथ इन्वॉल्व हो जाओ. मतलब यू नो ट्राई स्टार्ट टू इमेजिन कि आपके साथ ही वो पैराग्राफ हो रहा है या फिर जो भी स्टोरी है, यू आर इन दैट पैराग्राफ. क्योंकि उससे आप ये जब इन्वॉल्व हो जाओगे तो आप उसमें अपनी लॉजिक भी लगाने लग जाओगे, आप उसमें अपना रीजनिंग भी लगाने लग जाओगे. ऑलराइट, उसको एनालाइज भी करना शुरू कर दोगे कि ये पॉजिटिव है, ये नेगेटिव है. तो इसीलिए कहते हैं गेट इन्वॉल्व विद द पैराग्राफ. जैसे मैं आपसे कहती हूँ कि you should involve English in your life, उस तरीके से getting involved with the paragraph. Alright, now the third thing is underline the important lines or parts of the passage to answer the questions. Underline the important parts or lines to answer the questions. It will also help to understand the main idea of the passage or the tone or the mood of the author. Now जो important parts हैं, जैसे किसी चीज़ का कोई benefit है या फिर किसी चीज़ की कोई limitation है या फिर कोई turning point है, जो भी आपको important लगे, you should underline that. इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि आप पूरा पैसेज ही अंडरलाइन कर दो. जो भी आपको इम्पोर्टेंट लगे वो वर्ड अंडरलाइन कर दिया बस, या फिर कोई लाइन इम्पोर्टेंट लगी उसे अंडरलाइन कर दिया, उसको स्टार मार्क कर दिया, उस तरीके से. So this what will this do? It will also help to understand the main idea. जो सेंट्रल थीम होगा ना पैसेज का, this will help you in understanding that. And the tone or the mood of the author as well. So ये जो आप underline करोगे कि उसमें the author is angry or the author is sad or they're happy, they're trying to tell you something. और tone मतलब जैसे किस सेंस में वो आपको कहना चाह रहे हैं, कि आपसे वो कोई अपील कर रहे हैं या कोई इंस्पायर करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं किसी चीज़ के लिए, या एनालाइज करने के लिए मोटिवेट कर रहे हैं. तो जो इम्पोर्टेंट वर्ड्स से आपको दिस विल हेल्प यू इन अंडरस्टैंडिंग दैट. ऑलराइट, सो दीज वर दी क्विक फ्यू ओवरऑल टिप्स जिसमें आपको पैसेज जल्दी पढ़ना है. जल्दी का मतलब ये नहीं कि आप बिल्कुल समझो ही ना. as fast as possible का मतलब ये भी है कि आपको जो आपकी स्पीड जिसमें आपको समझ आए उतना फास्ट, as fast as possible. ये नहीं कि सबसे तेज पढ़ लिया पर आंसर गलत दे दिया, and that will be of no use, right? And second is getting involved with the paragraph to understand it. आप उसे फील करेंगे, आप उसे एक्सप्रेस करेंगे, इन्वॉल्व हो जाएंगे, तो आपको अच्छे से समझ आएगा, अच्छे से लॉजिक लगा पाएंगे आप. Then underline the important lines or parts of the passage to answer the questions, and it will also help to understand the main idea, the central idea or the tone and or the mood of the author. Alright, so these were the few quick overall tips. Now let's move on to the next slide. Alright, so now is the time for our quiz. We shall be starting with the quiz now, and in the quiz हम किस format में लेंगे कि पहले हम एक रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन की स्लाइड आएगी जिसमें हम रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन पढ़ेंगे. मैं आपको समझाऊंगी कि रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में क्या है. उसके बाद फ्रॉम द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड ऑनवर्ड्स उसी रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के जितने भी क्वेश्चंस हैं वो पर क्वेश्चन यू विल गेट 1 मिनट जैसे ही हमारे बाकी क्वेश्चंस में होता है. रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन में एडिशनल बस ये है कि हर रीडिंग कॉम्प्रिहेंशन को आई विल फर्स्ट एक्सप्लेन इट टू यू कम्प्लीटली. उसमें अगर कोई नए वर्ड मीनिंग्स हो या कुछ अंडरस्टैंडिंग हो, उसकी एनालिसिस हो, तो वी विल डू दैट इन द फर्स्ट स्लाइड एंड देन क्वेश्चंस के लिए दिस विल बी फॉलोड बाय द सिमिलर एक्सरसाइज जो पहले होती आई है. ऑलराइट, लेट्स स्टार्ट. Alright, so for the quiz what we will be doing is, now every question you will be given 1 minute. 1 minute means 60 seconds. Why am I giving you 1 minute? Because you see your question paper of IEO, it has about 50 questions, and so you can imagine that you get more or less a minute to answer the questions. Now this 1 minute is the maximum that you should be taking for answering the question. Now suppose there could be two three categories of students. First category is, suppose you answer the question within that 1 minute. So I would request you to fast forward the video and skip right to the answer. You should not be wasting your time. Alright. Now the other students who are not able to answer the question in 1 minute, what you do, you don't skip to the answer. You pause the video and you write down your answer. Alright, it is very important to answer each and every question because there is no negative marking. Here you see, for every incorrect answer, no points, because there is no negative marking in IEO, so it is important that you attempt all the questions. Now for a question of which you are not sure about the answer, now even here and even in the exam, if you are not sure about the answer and you maybe think that B option might be correct or C option might be correct, so you should in that case play your luck and play your mind and make a guess and still give an answer, because it is a win-win situation. Either you will get the marks for that question or you will get a 0, right? But if you don't attempt that question at all, then you are anyway getting a 0 in that, right? So it is good to attempt those questions, and even if you don't know all the answers, try to understand and take a guess. Okay, so this is for every correct answer 10 points. This is just for your own little game where you can try to maintain a notepad. So here you write the name of the chapter and then the question, and then if it is correct you can give yourself 10 points. If it is not correct, you mark it here. So it is important to see these questions, the ones which you mark incorrect. It is important to go back to them later and then see where you did the mistake. Alright, this is just for your reference. For every correct answer you can give yourself 10 points. Alright, now let's start. Alright, so here let's see the first category of questions for comprehension. The following questions have four sentences. Put the sentences in proper order to make a meaningful passage. So this is sort of a jumbled up sentences we are given, and we have to figure them out, their correct order. Let's read the sentences first. 18th Asian Games will be held in the year 2018. Okay, so it is talking about the future plan. Then the motto of Asian Games is ever onward. Right, so it is providing information about the Asian Games themselves. Then the first Asian Games were held in 1951. Okay, we're talking about the past. Then talking about the 17th Asian Games were held in the year 2014. Okay, again we're talking about the past. Alright, so here you see, this is pretty easy. First, we will talk about the introduction of the Asian Games, which is provided in the second sentence. The motto of Asian Games is ever onward. So the first sentence becomes 2. Then after that we've provided information about the first, the 17th and the 18th. So we'll go in a chronological order. First talk about the first Asian Games that were held. That was in 1915 and sentence number 3. Then according to the chronology, the next Asian Games, 17th Asian Games, this were held in 2014, sentences 4. Then we will have the information about the future 18th Asian Games will be held in the year 2018. So 2, 3, 4, 1. That can be the correct order. Here, the correct answer is D. 2, 3, 4, 1. All right. Okay, so here the same thing. Let's see. The language of the people here is Bengali. Okay, of the people here. Then 2, Kolkata is the capital of West Bengal. It is on the banks of River Hooghly. It is an important metropolitan city of India. Alright, so first of all, let's see Kolkata. Now, which one is introducing the stanza to us, introducing the theme? The sentence which is introducing the theme should be kept first. So the answer is second. This has to be kept first. Alright, this has to be first. So which of this is starting with second sentence? Yeah, A. This can be an easy trick to find out the correct answer. However, हम एक बार पढ़ लेते हैं. Second sentence, Kolkata is the capital of West Bengal. Then we are introducing its geographical location, that it is on the banks of River Hooghly. Then we are talking about its own importance, that it is an important metropolitan city of India. Then we're talking about the people there, that the language of people here is Bengali. Alright, first we introduce the theme. The main topic is Kolkata. We talk about Kolkata first. Then we move on to the various aspects of Kolkata, which could be the people here and the language. Alright, this is the correct way of writing a passage, or maybe reordering, I can say. Alright. Okay, so now we will be moving to the passages. Here what we are going to do is, I will first explain the passage to you, and then we will solve the questions one by one. Okay, so here, read the following passages in poetry and answer the questions by choosing the most appropriate option. Let's see, here the title is King Without Wits. Let's read. All the animals of the forest gathered to elect their new king. They chose the monkey because they were amused by his antics. The fox was very disappointed at not being chosen and waited for a chance to get it. So here you see what we have been introduced to. The introductory sentence says there are these animals in the forest and they are gathered together to choose their new king. They're talking about choosing their new king. Alright. So what happened? They chose the monkey as the king of the forest. And why so? They gave a reason that they were amused by his antics. So, or monkey's behavior and the tricks and things that he does. All the animals were amused by it, so they selected the monkey. Then the fox was very disappointed at not being chosen and waited for a chance to get it. So here the fox was very disappointed. Maybe the fox wanted to be the king, so it was very disappointed, but it still waited for a chance to get it. Now next, one day he found a piece of meat on a path. He realized at once it was the bait for a trap. So then what happened? One day, this fox was very disappointed for not being chosen as the king, and he was just waiting for a chance so that he could get this position of the king. So one day while he was just wandering around, he found this piece of meat on just the forest path. Now the fox was clever and he realized that this was a bait for trap. मतलब ये एक तरीके की bribe. It's a trick to trap him. So next, let's see what happens next. But off he went to the monkey and offered to show him where it was, as a sign of his loyalty. Now here, what happens? Now the fox, who's very clever, it realizes that this piece of meat is like a bait for him. So he decides that I will go to the monkey and I will pretend to be a loyal member of the animal family of this forest, and I will offer him the meat. So he goes to the monkey and offers to show him the meat, like where it was kept, as a sign of his loyalty. Then the monkey king at once fell into the trap and the fox burst out laughing. With so few wits, you cannot even rule yourself, let alone animals. So here, what happened? The monkey king, who went with the fox to see the piece of meat, he fell into the trap and the fox immediately burst out laughing. And then what does it say to the monkey? With so few wits you cannot even rule yourself, let alone animals. With so few wits you cannot even rule yourself. मतलब तो अपना भी, you can't even take care of yourself. So how will you rule these animals? Alright, so this was a funny little passage. Now we will move on to its questions. So here the question says, why did the animals elect the monkey as their king? The animals elected the monkey as their king because he was very intelligent, he pleased the animals with his funny tricks, or he would climb the highest tree, or none of these. Now here, you see here, they chose the monkey because they were amused by his antics. So the correct answer is B. He pleased the animals with his funny tricks. Next question. Why was the fox disappointed? The fox was disappointed because A. He wanted to become the king. B. He was not chosen as a king by the animals. C. Both A and B, or D. None of these. Now here let's see. The fox was very disappointed at not being chosen and waited for a chance to get it. So here you see what is the correct answer. We have C, both A and B, that the fox wanted to become king and he was not chosen as a king. So the correct answer is C. Here, why did the fox show the piece of meat to the monkey? The fox showed the piece of meat to the monkey out of loyalty or out of jealousy, or just for fun, or to prove that the monkey was a stupid king. Now here, one day he found a piece of meat on a path. He realized at once it was a bait for a trap. So, but off he went to the monkey and offered to show him where it was as a sign of his loyalty. Now here it is said it was to show the sign of loyalty, but the next part also says the king at once fell into the trap. So it was a trap by the fox. The correct answer is D, to prove that the monkey was a stupid king. Here, which word in the passage means food which is put to catch animals? Put to catch animals, this was here. Piece of meat there was, and it realized at once it was the bait for a trap. Bait. किसी को trick करके किसी चीज में के लिए पकड़ लेना, right? That is bait. So here, food which is put to catch animals, that's bait. Alright, now the next passage we will see here, King Metabo. King Metabo was a famous javelin thrower. One day he went out hunting with his daughter Camille on his back. Okay, so we are talking here about King Metabo and his daughter. He was a famous javelin thrower. What happened? One day he went out hunting with his daughter Camille. Right. Went on to hunting with his daughter Camille. So we have King Metabo and Camille going on hunting. Then what happened? All of a sudden, the king was attacked by a band of enemies. He had to flee from them until he came to a fast-flowing river, which he was unable to swim across because of his daughter on his back. It seemed as if he was lost until he thought of a way out. So here you see what happened. Both of these, King Metabo and his daughter, he took her hunting, but all of a sudden what happened? he was attacked by a band of enemies. Kings usually have a lot of enemies, so a band of king's enemies, they attacked them, and the king obviously had to run from them with his daughter. But while running in the forest, he came across this river, and that fast flowing river, he was unable to cross it. Why? Because he had his daughter on his back. So it seemed as if he was lost until he thought of a way out. Now, if he stayed in that forest on that side of the river, then he would have been attacked by the enemies, and he could not cross the river also because it was a fast flowing river, and he could not carry his daughter on the back. So he was stuck. Then, tying his daughter to his javelin, he hurled it with all his strength to the other side of the river. Then he dove into the water and swam across to where Pundhir was. His enemies were so amazed that they gave up the chase. Alright, so you see over here what happened. Now, tying his daughter to his javelin, he tied his daughter, and then he threw that, in a sense, he hurled it, and he threw it to the other side of the river. So his daughter reached the other side, and how he reached the other side? He swam across to where he had hurled his daughter. Then, on the other side of the river, first Camille reached, and then the king also reached. So, on seeing this, his enemies were also so amazed that eventually they gave up the chase. All right. So this was a little passage about King Mitab. Here, King Mitab was well known for A. Hunting, B. Javelin, C. Javelin throwing, or D. Javelin thrower. Here we know that King Mitab, in the first sentence itself, King Mitab was a famous javelin thrower. So he was known for what? Javelin throwing. Okay. Next question. When was the king attacked by the enemies? The king was attacked by the enemies when he went out to picnic with his daughter, went out hunting, or came to a fast flowing river, or was swimming in the river. Okay. Now, here, one day he went out hunting with his daughter, and then all of a sudden he was attacked by a band of enemies. So, when was he attacked? When he went out for hunting with his daughter. Was it difficult for the king to swim across the river? It was difficult for the king to swim across because the enemies were chasing him, the river was fast flowing, or his daughter was on the back, or he had lost his strength. Here you see, yes, to a fast flowing river which he was unable to swim across because, here is the reason, because of his daughter on his back. So the reason was, see, the daughter was on his back. Alright. Then, how did little Camille cross the river? She crossed the river with her own efforts. Or B, the king tied to his javelin and hurled it to the other side. Or C, the king tied her on his back and crossed the river. Let's see. Tying his daughter to his javelin, he hurled it with all his strength to the other side of the river. Okay, so what he did was tied her to his javelin and hurled it to the other side of the river. Answer is B. So here, which word in the passage means to escape or run away? Here we have. Now options we have hurled, flee, dive and chase. Here we have flee. We had to flee from them, which means you have to escape from whom? Escape from the enemies. So the answer is B, flee. Alright. Hurled means sort of throwing. Dived means, when you dive in a pool or river or something to swim. And then chase, going after someone. Okay, here, which word in the passage means to run after? I just told you in the previous question, D, chase. Okay, so now we move to the next part, next question. Next set of questions will be based on this poem, which is titled My Mother Saw a Dancing Bear. Let's read the poem, we'll understand the gist of it, and then we'll move on to the questions. My mother saw a dancing bear by the schoolyard a day in June. The keeper stood with chain and bar, and whistle pipe and played a tune. The bruin lifted up its head and lifted up its dusty feet, and all the children laughed to see it caper in the summer heat. So here what we're talking about is this little kid is explaining how his or her mother saw a dancing bear in her times when she was in school. All right, so we're talking about this puppet, maybe, and there was this keeper of the puppet who made this bear dance, who made this bear dance on his tunes, right? So he was with a chain and bar, and he had a whistle pipe, played a tune, and then the bruin lifted up its head, its dusty feet, and all the children saw all this in the summer heat. So it was time of summer. Then they watched as for the queen it died. They watched it march. They watched it halt. They heard the keeper as he cried, "Now roly-poly somersault." So yeah, the various tricks and amusing things that the keeper made the dancing bear do. Right, it made it march, halt, and somersault as well. Okay, then next. Then my mother said, "They came," and then my mother said there came the keeper with a begging cup, the bear with burning coat of fur, shaming the laughter to a stop. They said a penny for the dance, but what they saw was not the show, only in bruin's aching eyes, but distant forests and the snow. So here they are, she's talking about this keeper who then came after the show was over, it came and it asked for money. Right, it came with a begging cup. So for after when they saw this, the laughter was stopped, and they asked for a penny for the dance. But at that time, what they saw was not the show, but they saw in their aching eyes, in their painful eyes, they saw far distant forests and the snow. Alright, so this was a simple poem. Now we will move on to the questions. Here, which animal did the mother see dancing? This is a pretty easy question. It is answered in the title itself. A bear, not a deer, tiger, or cow. here, what did the keeper have in his hand? Chain and bar, a bowl of soup, or bottle of wine, or D, fur. Now where is it in the poem? We say the keeper stood with chain and bar. Alright, so the answer is A, chain and bar. So here, why was the bear's feet dusty? The schoolyard was dusty, it was summer, or the sun was shining brightly, or D, all of these. Here, where was it? The bruin lifted up its head and lifted up the dusty feet. So, no, it was they were in the schoolyard, so we know that it was the schoolyard which was dusty. That's why the bear's feet were also dusty. Which word in the poem rhymes with show? Let's see, where is show? There is show. And which is rhyming with show? What word is rhyming with the show? But what they saw was not the show, only in ruins aching eyes for distant forests and the snow. So which word is rhyming? A, snow. Right, so the next, which word means lifted in the poem? Raised, taken out, given out. None of these. Okay, so the word which means lifted is actually raised. Okay, to raise means to lift something. So here, how much did they pay for the show? 1 penny, a 10 rupee note, 100 rupees, or 1 rupee. Here, they paid a penny for the dance. So how much they paid? 1 penny. Alright. Okay, so who is referred to as roly-poly? Where are we referring roly-poly? Here. Now roly-poly, somersault. Whom is the keeper addressing? They're addressing the bear, deer, cat, or lion. Since the poem is about a bear, he's addressing the bear. What did they see in the Bruins' eyes? Begging cup, laughing children, chain and bar, or forest and snow? Yeah. They said a penny for the dance, but what they saw was not the show. Only in Bruins' aching eyes, far distant forests and the snow. So the answer is what they saw was D, forest and snow. And right here we have the next category. This one is tools and weapons in Neolithic age. Let's read. One of the remarkable achievements of the Neolithic period was the invention of wheel. It brought rapid progress in man's life. Now here we're talking about the Neolithic period. Neolithic, first came the Paleolithic, then the Mesolithic, and then came the Neolithic. So for the Neolithic period, we're talking about the most important achievement, one of the most important achievements, which was the invention of the wheel. Invention of wheel really brought a rapid progress. It helped man. Let's see how. The wheel was used in horse carts, bullock carts that helped a man a lot to carry heavy loads. Then, therefore, in this period, transport became quite easy and fixed. So, because of the wheels, the man was able to carry heavy loads at once. So, transport also became quick and easy. Then, the wheel was also used for spinning and weaving. It also helped in pottery. Man made beautiful pots and for to keep food grains and storing water. So one of the help was also storage. Then next, the tools and weapons of the Neolithic age are better and sharper than the Paleolithic age, the one which came before Neolithic. Alright, now a polished stone called celt was used to make tools. So a new type of stone emerged, which was the Neolithic age. In the Neolithic age, it was called celt, which was used to make tools. Then some new developed tools like sickles, bows, arrows, and improved axes were made in the Neolithic age. So now we're talking also about the tools and weapons. First we talked about the wheel, now we have shifted to the tools and weapons. So these tools were also used for various purposes, like the axe was used for cutting down trees, Sickles were used to harvest the crop and arrows to hunt animals. So this passage talks about the Neolithic age and how the wheel helped, and here how the tools and weapons developed, which helped in various things as well. Alright. So here, what was the most significant discovery of the Neolithic period? The most significant discovery: invention of wheel, sharper tools, axes for cutting of trays, or horse carts. We know one of the most remarkable achievements of the Neolithic period was the invention of wheel. The correct answer is A. Here, how was the invention of wheel useful in storing food grains and water? Man used wheels and carts to carry food grains and water, or man made sacks by using wheels in spinning thread and stored food grains in them, or man made pots with wheel and stored food grains and water. So here let's see, the wheel was also used for spinning and weaving and then helped in pottery. So man made beautiful pots which help to keep food grains and storing water. So here man made pots with wheels and stored food grains and water. The answer is C. Here, what was the difference between tools of the Neolithic age and Paleolithic age? Neolithic tools were sharper and better, or made of rocks, or more easily made, or there was no difference. So here, the tools and weapons of the Neolithic age are better and sharper than the Paleolithic age. So they were sharper and better. Alright. What was selt? Selt was an old weapon, or was it a sharp weapon? Or was it polished stone used to make tools? Was it polished weapon used to cut the trees? Yeah, now a polished stone called selt was used to make tools. So it was a polished stone used to make tools. C. Which age was man more advanced, the Paleolithic or the Neolithic age? Paleolithic, B, Neolithic, C, equally advanced in both the ages, or D, none of these. Now here we know, because we're talking about the Neolithic age where there was this invention of wheel and we had these pots and spinning and weaving, these new tools, new developed tools. So we know that the Neolithic age, man was more advanced. Alright. Okay, so here we have another passage. This one talks about urbanization and its impact. Scores of people leave the countryside every year to come to the cities. The booming cities have far more to offer them in terms of personal and professional growth. This results in deforestation as more and more trees are cut down. In fact, this results in more consumption of goods like furniture, which results in harming the environment. Right, so here we are talking about urbanization. Urbanization is basically the development in which we are building up more industries and more infrastructure for everything. That is urbanization. So because of this urbanization, many people from the rural areas are coming to the urban areas for finding employment, for improving their livelihood. Right. So this has all led to deforestation. Deforestation, why? Because the forests are being cut to have more land for new infrastructure. And then this has also resulted in more consumption of goods like furniture. Since there are more people in the cities now, they demand more goods, and they demand more goods like furniture, which are made from the forest. There is more deforestation, which is now resulting in harming the environment. All right. Then, what most people think is that better seeds will enable them to use available land far more frugally. The arrival of better and scientific ways of land management will make sure that more crops are produced on lesser area of land. Man is aware of the harmful effects of deforestation. Regardless of this knowledge, forests are still being cut down in large numbers, leaving animals homeless. So here what we're talking about is, now what most people usually think, what is the general idea that if they have better seeds, it will help them to use the available land far more frugally. Frugally means a little bit more economically, but here what we're talking about is the arrival of better and scientific ways of land management. If land could be managed in better ways, then it can help in making sure that more crops are produced in lesser area of land. However, we conclude by saying that man knows about what is the harmful impact happening on the forests through deforestation, and in turn deforestation क्या impact हो रहा है पूरे environment पे. But despite this knowledge, regardless of this knowledge, forests are still being cut down. Alright, So this was the little passage. Now we'll move towards questions. Yeah, what is man aware of? Man is aware of the harmful effects of deforestation, or that trees are being cut down in large numbers, or that better crops will give better yields, or that deforestation can make one rich. So, what is man aware of? Man is aware of, let's see in the passage, where was it? Here. Man is aware of the harmful effects of deforestation. So, answer is A. What is the meaning of booming cities from the context of the given passage? Crowded cities, polluted cities, growing cities, or vibrant cities? Now, in the context of the given passage, let's see where is booming cities. Here, the booming cities have far more to offer them. So here we are talking about the cities which are growing, because a man in general is attracted from the rural area to the urban area by seeing the growth of these cities. All right. What could help people to use available land more fruitfully? Deforestation, better seeds, consumption of goods, or none of these? The correct answer is here. What most people think is that better seeds will enable them to use available land far more fruitfully. So, better seeds. B, better seeds. So here, which word in the passage means many? Plenty of, considerable amount, scores of, or extensive. Here we have it in the beginning. Scores of people, which means many people. So the answer is C. Now the next question. Which word in the above passage means advent? Start, commence, arrival, or D, all of these? Now here, if the question was which word of the following means advent, then we could have said all of these. But here the question says which word in the above passage. Now in the above passage, there is only one such word, which is arrival. So here we will be answering C, arrival. Alright. And otherwise, if you see arrival, start, commence, advent, all these are synonyms and they mean the same. Okay, so here we move on to the next category of the passage. This one says fill in the blanks of the passage from the given options. What we have to do, there is this passage, we'll read them and we'll read it and side by side we'll solve the questions. Let's see. Another significant phase in airplane travel dash a few years later. Extensive research and development went into designing wartime planes that were used dash the First World War. Okay, so here we have to fill in the blank 31. Let's see. Another significant phase in airplane travel, dash a few years later. Was looked a few years later, was view a few years later, was observing a few years later, was witnessed a few years later. Now here the correct answer is D, was witnessed a few years later. Alright, which means it happens and all of us are witnesses to the same. Okay, and if all these you see look doesn't make sense, and then view is incorrect in terms of the tense as well, was observing also has incorrect tense. Next plan, extensive research and development into designing wartime planes that were used dash the First World War. During the First World War, while the First World War, in the meantime, the First World War, or on the time, the First World War. Now here the correct answer is, here the highlighter, yes, the highlighter is here. Okay, so the correct answer is during the First World War. During we use when you're talking about the span of something, like in a continuous manner, in that event when something happens continuously. All right. Okay, next plan. These planes were much faster, reaching speeds of 125 meter per hour and flew to the heights of 15,000 feet. Next. Dash airplanes owe their development to the First World War. Is significantly popular today as passenger carriers. Dash airplanes. Despite airplanes, though airplanes, in spite of airplanes, and besides airplanes. Now here the correct answer is B. Though airplanes owe their development to the First World War, they are significantly popular today as passenger carriers. Now here though is what is a conjunction of concession that we're using. That even though these airplanes, they owe their development to the First World War. Despite this first fact happening, the second fact is also happening, which is they are significantly popular today as passenger carriers. All right. Here, a flight is dash today than earlier. A flight is safer today, more safer, or safest, or safe. This one's pretty easy. I'm sure you know this. A flight is safer today. Why? We are comparing it, right? So we will be using the comparative form of the adjective safer, and A is the correct one. Safe and ER. Now here, more safer is incorrect because more, and then you use ER also, which is wrong. Then other safest is the superlative form, and then safe is the positive form. All right. Okay, here a flight is safer today than earlier, with greater facilities dash air traffic control. Or air traffic control, but air traffic control, and air traffic control, or yet air traffic control. Here the correct answer is C, and air traffic control. We are not contrasting or giving a choice or concessioning. We are providing a statement that we have greater facilities, and also what we have is air traffic control. So two equal parts, no contrasting and no choice given. Okay, so the correct answer is C, and. This was the last passage and this was the last question. With this we finish off with our questions on about the reading comprehension. All right.
So that's all for our class on comprehension. It's pretty easy. All you have to do is read the passage carefully, follow the various guidelines of you can form your own strategy of first either reading the questions or first reading the passage. It's up to you, but that will come with practice. Once you practice a lot and you understand which kind of strategy suits you the best, then you should stick to that and follow that. All right. So that's all for this class. I will see you the next time. Thank you for watching.